Hello everyone, it's GigaBeef here, and yes, we're having an arena wipe. This is the patch 1.5 for arena that's just being patched at the moment actually, so the game is down and can't be played, but this has been brought out and they're making some serious changes to the game to hopefully make it a bit better. So, to start with, as it says, we have a full profile wipe. As part of this update, progression of presets as well as player ARP has been reset. So any rank that you ground up or anything else that you managed to unlock is going to be reset back to normal. Now the ARP, which as most people would know it in other games as some kind of MMR or ELO score, that's your ranking score, profiles with less than 2000 ARP rating is set to 1500, and 1500 is the default, remember. Profiles with more than 2000 ARP rating are setting ARP to 2000. I actually think this is fine because it means that not everybody is bundled into 1500 right at the beginning like it was when Arena first launched, and instead anybody that's actually been playing Arena quite a lot and has got to above 2000 ARP is going to start at a slightly higher tier. So those people will be matched together to begin with, and the people who are new or inexperienced at Arena will all be set at 1500. So I think that's a good thing. Now, the next section is in terms of the presets and the rebalances of the tiering system. So the new tier system features the following changes. Removes the rating presets tab. The reason why this has been done probably is because nobody used them, because it didn't progress you through any of the other trees. There was no tree system for rating, it was just unlockable based on what your actual ARP was. Now instead, all presets are divided into 3 tiers. So I guess it's like low, medium, and high. Presets have been balanced within each tier. Several class and ranked presets have been removed. The first 2 presets of each class are free by default, so you're never going to get into a situation where you can only run the pistol, for example. Each collectible preset is now attached to a specific tier and class. I'm only aware of one at the moment, which is the Rigi kit, but I guess this will become more relevant as more of them get added to the game. And standardize the availability and the amount of medicine in the presets, and significantly reduce the number of frag grenades. The frag grenade spam was quite toxic and was just kind of anti what the game should be, so I think this is a good thing. Now, the fact that all the presets are divided into one of the 3 tiers has a big impact on matchmaking. Previously, Arena didn't really work properly. There are other ways of doing this, but Arena didn't really work properly to begin with because the matchmaking happened before you selected your kit. So originally, matchmaking was based entirely upon your ARP, and you could pick a kit, which meant that if you were at a higher ARP rating, you basically had to use the good kits because you could never go back and do another tree again. Now you select one of 3 tiers before you matchmake, which allows you to then pick a kit later and be matched with people running similar tiers of kits, which I think is more interesting. To start with, you're going to be locked into matchmaking on the lowest tier, and unlocking matchmaking in the next preset tier requires unlocking 5 presets of that next tier, which is kind of interesting. The matchmaking itself now counts for player ARP and the selected preset tier because you're matchmaking beforehand and you're picking a tier before you pick a kit, which is good. And preset tiers 2 and 3 will be temporarily locked from matchmaking in ranked games until there are enough players who have unlocked tiers 2 and 3. We don't know exactly how many that's going to be, but I imagine it'll probably come relatively quickly because people will grind up to tiers 2 and 3, especially tier 2, pretty fast I imagine. Now, BSG did say they were going to do something about duplicate presets. As we saw in the Arena tournament, we often had teams running 5-man loadouts of one individual kit, which is kind of crazy. So now players can only select 1 preset per team for more balanced gameplay. I thought this might end up being 2, but 1 is quite extreme, so you can't pick the same preset as somebody else on your team. Someone on the opposite team can pick the same kit as you, but someone on your own team can't pick the same kit that you've picked, or you can't pick a kit that they've picked. And it says here your team's selected presets are marked in the presets list, so I guess it's not going to be an actual listing of all of the players at the top yet. I hope that that would come at some point, because that would be quite nice, but at least it will be showing you in the presets list which ones that you can't take, I suppose. So the next one, the flexible preset unlock system. So originally we had the tree system where you had to use one kit to get to the next one, and then that kit to get to the next one, and that kit to get to the next one, and so on. They've changed the system completely. So you add the ability to select 4 presets for unlocking, 1 in each class. Experience to the unlockable preset is gained when playing as any of the available presets of that class. So if you're playing CQB and you want to unlock a kit, you select the kit that you want to unlock, and then you can play any of the kits that you have available, and the XP will go into the kit that you're trying to unlock afterwards. This is really good. This gives the players a lot of flexibility about what to use and makes it so that you can unlock kits without being forced to run a very specific thing, raid after raid after raid after raid after raid, which is really, really cool. The same system will apply to collectibles, and the preset tree view is available with a button in the bottom menu. Hopefully this means in more of the menus. I'd love to be able to see the presets while we're loading in and that kind of stuff, but we'll see. So obviously this is going to require some balancing. We've got preset, price, and unlock balancing. Recalculated the preset purchase cost based on the tiers that they belong to, increased the difference in cash between players who contributed more towards victory and those who contributed less, which is quite nice. Reduced the amount of experience for unlocking a preset so it's not as grindy. This is all good stuff. Now, in terms of location selection, they've increased the minimum number of locations to start matchmaking from 1 to 4. So I guess you have to have 4 maps selected. You can't just pick one map like you used to be able to. This is probably partly due to the stability of matchmaking, so you're not trying to matchmake people who are picking one individual map, just grinding one map over and over. But it also means that you need to play more maps than just one, right? You can't just be a Sawmill main and only play that one map, so you're going to have to diversify a little bit more. The painkiller effect has been nerfed very slightly, which is good, and they've also changed custom games. So now you can do preset tier configurations, so you can specify exactly which presets that you are able to choose within that custom game. Switching off the kill cam, which is going to be really important for tournaments. Configurable duplicate team preset limits. So although you can only use 1 kit per team in ranked matchmaking, you might be able to set that to 2 or 3 depending on the tournament rules. Configurable character skill level, again everybody being at max skills or something for the tournaments. Configurable number of rounds and configurable team names. And this is all more important for actual tourneys and people just playing like custom game modes and community tournaments outside of the main ranked mode. Fire mode. Change the default fire mode for all weapons to full auto as the default. Please, can we get this in the main game, please? Thank you. Added the new location Chop Shop to the team fight mode, which is good because I pretty much only play team fight when I'm playing arena, so I haven't actually played Chop Shop yet. Fixed the culling issues on all locations, removed the ability to vault out of bounds, and readjusted the logic of frag grenade spawns on all locations for all game modes with the following rules. The grenades don't spawn on Equator and Chop Shop and on all shootout locations, but they do spawn on Bay 5, Air Pit, Bowl, and Sawmill. They've added a spot with a 100% chance of a grenade spawn in the middle, and there's 2 frag grenade spawns at equal distances between the teams, and a grenade will spawn at one of those locations, but only one of them. So it's a 100% chance of spawning, but it's one of the 2 locations between the teams. All of the spawn points no longer contain frags, so they're really trying to limit down the amount of grenades people are using in this mode because it's just really annoying. So in terms of map changes, Air Pit slightly changed the geometry. Regardless of the spawn side, the players will reach the airplane at the same time. This is good. This is just making it more competitive. Bowl slightly changed geometry again. Regardless of the spawn side, players reach the helicopter at the same side. So not too much in terms of map changes. Now we have the new hitbox and armor system from EFT. This is really controversial within the arena community because it does increase the variability of kills and it probably damages the sort of skillness of the shooting a little bit. But either which way, we knew BSG were going to add this at some point. So hitboxes, they've added the new head hit zones. I don't think this makes that much difference. The only one is really the neck one, which kind of effectively increases the head hitbox down to here, unless you've got it protected with some kind of chest armor. But that only works on certain armor and it only gives you level 2 or level 3 protection anyway. As a reminder, throat is the front section and neck is the back. We then have thorax and stomach zones into front, back, and sides. Armor only protects the front and back of the thorax, and stomach only the front and back as well, except if you're using side plates or side aramid armor, something like that. The pelvic hit zone is groin and buttocks. This also inflicts damage to the stomach area, so the stomach has 6 hitboxes now, like it does in base EFT. Front, back, 2 sides, and groin and buttocks. So the armor's also been ported over from normal Tarkov. We know about all of this. Integrated armor has a class 2 or 3. You can use plates in instead as well over the top of that. This has actually been buffed now, given that this has probably got the new ballistics workings from the patch 14.1.1 that we've just had in the main game. With plates now giving damage mitigation, you're probably better off using those rather than anything with soft armor. But we're going to have to see how they change this across the actual classes and the presets, because they've rebalanced some of the kits, I think. So we'll see that once we get into the game. The armored collar that protects the neck, we know about that, and ballistic plate slots across the side and on the front and back, classes 3 to 6. Damage and armor, rework the damage to the layers. Now when each layer is penetrated, the bullet loses some penetration. This is just the same as the actual patch that we had a minute ago for the main game, 14.1.1 that I mentioned a second ago. Blood damage now decreases when there is soft armor behind, and remove the possibility for bullets to pierce through the character's thorax and stomach, so you don't get these like double shot kills on the chest or something. As it says here, more information about the hitboxes and armor can be found in the following links, and these are links to the main game. These things have now just been kind of connected back together. So that's about it. I think it should be fun to play Arena in this new formulation, especially with the changes to matchmaking, and I'm probably going to be diving in today to go and check it out later this afternoon. As a reminder, we have 3 albums of music out now. You can see them on the Spotify page that will be linked in the description, and I'm using these tunes across most of my videos these days. All of the tracks are copyright free in conjunction with Low Wave Records, so go and listen to them if you want to go and help me out and support what I do. As usual, big shout out to all my patrons, and as always, have fun in your raids.